It's weather for Weather Geeks time here on this Monday evening. One day to go in the month of February. Welcome back, everyone. Hope you had a good weekend. Our weather certainly was warmer today than it was Saturday afternoon and Sunday, even though we had a fair amount of sunshine yesterday. Today we had clouds, but temperatures made it up into the mid-40s, even upper 40s in some spots. And of course, this month has been all about the numbers. An incredibly warm February, and we're going to top out at the warmest February on record here in Youngstown with an average temperature about 10 degrees above the seasonal average for the month. Now, when we look at these numbers, these count high and low temperatures. So when you factor it all in, a remarkable month, especially considering it's just 2 years removed from the coldest February on record. We're going to be around plus 10.5, I think, for this month. 2 years ago, we were minus 14.7. So 25, 26 degrees warmer this year than 2 years ago in February. That is an enormous number when you're looking at a month as a whole. All right, the snow, of course, the lack of snow has also been a story. Not sure why my text got cut off over there. Only 6.1 inches for the month, and that's about 50%, 51% of average. About half of the amount of snow we should have gotten in February, and this will be the least snowy February since 2004 here in the Valley. The official numbers, of course, measured at the Youngstown Warren Airport. We haven't had over an inch of snow at the airport since the 16th. It's been, 11 days now? So, and we're certainly not going to have any for the rest of the month. No snow on the ground here locally, just a little bit up in the higher terrain to our north and east, and really you have to head up into New England, into Canada, and parts of the upper Midwest to find much in the way of snow on the ground. And we don't expect any snow on the ground for the next couple of days. It's simply too warm. And you might run into a sprinkle or a quick spritz if you're out and about over the next several hours. No big deal there. Temperatures continue to warm in the middle of the country. The warm air is advancing eastward along, of course, a warm front. And I think tomorrow will be about 10 degrees warmer than today. And then we'll tack on another 7 or 8 degrees coming up on Wednesday. But we do have some current concerns as we start getting into this warmer pattern. We are going to get wet a couple of times. Now, tomorrow, not a washout, but there can be some showers around, especially from midday into the afternoon. Don't think there's going to be much thunder with this tomorrow. It's something that can't totally be ruled out, but I don't think there's going to be much. Now, that changes, though, as we go into Wednesday morning. Now, this is the wee hours of Wednesday morning, 1, 2, 3 in the morning. This particular model, the RPM, trying to spin up a couple of areas of showers and perhaps some thunder here in the middle of the night. And as we get into the daylight hours on Wednesday, our modeling is trying to show another line of storms trying to form, at least some gusty showers, probably some thunder with this, along I-71 and heading east as we go into the mid-morning hours on Wednesday. That's ahead of our front. Now, this front's coming through at the wrong time of the day for there to be a big severe weather outbreak. Don't think that's likely. But I do think that there is a chance of a damaging wind gust if we get a beefier storm morning and midday on Wednesday. I think the window of possible severe weather will close pretty early in the afternoon at the latest. This is mostly a morning deal coming up on Wednesday. Not real concerned about tornadic activity, even though it, as usual, cannot 100% be ruled out. And this does not look like a big hail-producing situation to me. Maybe there's some small hail, but large damaging hail seems pretty unlikely. Rainfall totals will be pretty variable depending on if you get a heavy thunderstorm or two. But on average, probably somewhere on the order of a half an inch to an inch between tomorrow and Wednesday evening before we start to see a changeover to some snowflakes. Now, even outside of, outside of thunderstorms, it's going to be pretty windy tomorrow night into Wednesday. We could see occasional gusts over 30, perhaps even over 40 on a couple of occasions. Wednesday and into Wednesday evening, and of course in any thunderstorm activity, that could pull down some strong winds from upstairs in the atmosphere. So a blustery period, and it's going to stay pretty blustery into Wednesday night. And notice our wind direction by Wednesday night starting to come more out of the northwest. The cold air is going to start pouring in, and it's going to be a pretty rapid drop late Wednesday and into Wednesday night. And yeah, there'll be a few snowflakes around Wednesday night. Probably won't amount to much, but we might have to watch for local slick spots. On Thursday, some morning flurries, then I think we are uneventful for the rest of the day today. Now, what I'm going to be keeping an eye on Thursday night is this system. Doesn't look like much, but it's a little clipper, Alberta clipper, that's going to come south and east. Now, depending on which model you look at, This is either going to track kind of across I-80 and perhaps bring us a couple of inches of snow Thursday night, or be more of an I-70 special, in which case we wouldn't see much at all. We don't know the answer to this just yet, so we will, of course, be keeping a close eye on that. Either way, it won't be a huge deal, but it's our only chance of accumulating snow over the next several days, of course, with this kind of pattern that we are in and that we're going to be heading into. Speaking of the pattern that we're heading into, quick look at the hot off the presses European model. Month-long outlook here. This is the temperature anomaly map for the next roughly month or so, showing, as it has been for the past few months, warmer than average temperatures across the eastern two-thirds of the country. And I think this is generally the right idea. Now, I think early March will feature some ups and downs. It's going to get cold at the end of this week. It's going to get cold for a couple of days in the middle of next week, and maybe one more shot after that. But overall, those are just blips. The overall pattern remains pretty warm, it looks like, compared to average for the next month, with the best chance for colder than average weather out in the northwest. The same model shows a dry pattern in the plains in the southeast, maybe somewhat wet around our region, and up into parts of Quebec and Ontario. It's according to the latest European model. Now, the climate forecast system model for spring, counting March, April, and May, continues the same pattern that we had all winter. Probably colder than average. Pacific Northwest, Northern Rockies, warmer than average. East of the Rockies. My official spring outlook, we're going to do that later this week. It'll depend on that Thursday night system. If we're talking snow Thursday night, I'll put off the spring forecast till Friday. Otherwise, I'll probably do that spring forecast here on Weather Geeks and on TV Thursday evening. We'll talk about March, April, and May. Here's the climate modeling temperatures, and here's the precipitation for March, April, and May, showing perhaps a little bit of a wet signal nearby, but nothing too strong, according to the latest CFS. So again, spring forecast later on this week. We'll also do a winter review. The winter forecast started good, ended pretty bad. So mixed reviews this year on the winter forecast. I'll get into details on that later on this week. I'm always up front with you when we have a bad forecast. We're going to tell you. And certainly the second half of winter did not go as I thought it would. So again, I'll talk more about that later in the week. Hope you have a great night tonight, and be sure and tune in this evening on 21 News at 11. If you can't make it to your TV, of course, you can always watch us on your Storm Tracker 21 app and on the WFMJ